Good morning, friends. It's July 24th, 2026, and the market opened a minute ago. I'm here in the dashboard of Daily Plays. There's a customized feature here where you can kind of take a little quiz to get a pick, which I highly suggest that you do. For me, when I'm looking at this, I like to look at day trades first. There's today, the Prism estimate shows how much the system thinks it's going to go up and an entry and exit. I am looking right now at potential options. I see CLF is pumping. So for me, that would be a potential day trade that looks interesting. Um, I also like to look, secondly, at the narrative map. I've been looking at this to get a lot of different ticker ideas. If you click here, shows you kind of the contagion chain of where narratives are moving and how they could impact stocks. So here, Cypher stock surges. Potentially, that could be an interesting buy in a chain. Again, I'm looking at the price. EV segment. So I'm going to go until, for some reason, I think that there is buzz happening right now with NVIDIA, just in looking at overall narratives. And the narrative for Apple's been pumping hard. So once Apple goes down, there's a chance that NVIDIA will be going up. So that's something I'm just taking note of in my head. NVIDIA tends to be pretty steady. It's not going to have a crazy amount of growth to capitalize on a day-to-day trading basis because it's heavily traded. A Lab looks interesting here. An AI infrastructure. Haven't really heard of this company. So I'm going to click here. See, the P is really high, but the price is at a lower sector than it used to be. And this happens to be a new ticker in the system, so it's still learning and there's not a lot of narratives yet. So that would be a pass today. Next, I look here at trading cards. So you can sort, again, trading cards by the conviction. So I'm going to look at Platinum. This has been a stock that I've been checking out. So I'm going to go to the page right now and see kind of where we are. It looks like the narrative force is decreasing, which is not necessarily always a bad thing. When I look down at the narratives, this is again for today. This is a positive article from Jim Cramer. Again, there's always negative articles too, but if you see, these are both tier 6, and you can see the fuel. They both have, so negative and positive have pretty even fuel. Again, cyber attacks, cyber security is a really big emerging theme. So this looks interesting that there's a news story out right now about cyber attacks and CrowdStrike that could potentially push the stock. And maybe that's why it's going up today. So I would say for me, this would be an interesting day trade for the day, just looking at it initially. I also like to look at the leaderboard. So right now, we're going to look at clean signals from the system. There was a guidance mention, which typically has an impact on the stock. You can see AI power demand narrative for AMD, potential interesting trade there. Earnings miss here that has gone up. Earnings in 27 days. The PE is looking low. The price, again, has gone up pretty high recently. I'm going to look at the view here to see where the price is. But the price looks like it's at an all-time low recently. So again, this could be an interesting entry. I'm going to look at the narratives again. And then I like to look at earnings and if there was beats. Here you can see claim integrity. So I like to look here to see if there's any strong scientific or case studies. The system's scraping scholarly journal articles on a daily basis. So I like to check that out. Again, these are just estimates to give you an idea, but the system is still learning, so don't take these verbatim. I can also see that the ticker is based in reality. And if a ticker is based in reality, that means that the narratives out right now are closer to the fundamentals that were filed, and they're not based off of belief of future potential. So that's also a great sign. We have a lot of volatility in the narratives. And just because the narrative force is down for the day, that doesn't mean that the ticker is going to be down. I always like to look at earnings strategies, but we're still far out from earnings, so it's not really relevant. I would say that this would also be a really interesting day trade for the day. Max voltage. So in the leaderboard, there tends to be like a sector rotation, if you want to say. Some leaderboards will be all green for the day. Sometimes they're all red. I love when I see hidden bargains all green because that makes me think that the market is being rational. So again, we have crowd here. I've been looking at this ticker, low price fertilizer company. I think it looks really interesting. Earnings in 11 days, slight dip. RBC Capital maintain their buy rating. Let's look at the narratives. And this is 20% of the fuel. So I think day trade, interesting. Also leading up to earnings, maybe in a few days as we get closer, it'd be a nice swing trade. Let's go back here. And I like to look at today's verdicts as well. So this is a narrative trap for today. This looks like a coordination watch, which is a potential indication that the ticker is going to pump for the day. Coordination watch is when there's a similar narrative being pumped out fast in various publications in a coordinated way in a short period of time. So this also looks like they just got over earnings. Let's look at where earnings typically are and where they are. So they are typically below. So here you can see this almost a perfect line of where it's gone before. So I would say stay away from this. Would be my bet. Let's go back to trading cards. Platinum. Amazon, interesting. Again, AI narrative. If it's going up, it's most likely going to go up for the day. I also like to look at the narrative universe because there is a correlation with tickers exhausting and price popping. So you can see here, these are the most exhausted tickers now. And you can see here, it shows the chart. So it's close to SEC filings. It's safe. The source is reliable. So you can kind of just look here, and you can also do the 10 days if you want to get an idea of where the ticker has been. I don't know why that's not popping up right now. Here we go. Kind of walks you through where the story has been. I like Signal Labs too, but again, it's how you interpret it and look at it. I can see patterns in here sometimes. Generally with NVIDIA, and again, this is the pattern I see, is it when the line is going down, typically it happens, it looks like the line started going down yesterday or the day before. And as you can see, the price is down. I tend to see that the line goes up a day or two before. If it goes up, then the price goes up. You can also see here the narrative dots. So this is the size of the narrative, the impact of the narrative. And a green dot means the 5-day returns for that particular set of narrative keywords is positive. As you can see here, this was a strong positive article and the price went up. I also like to look at Microsoft because the system is pretty good at reading Microsoft. So it's had unusual behavior because it's neutral dots, but the price is up today. Not really sure why. I'm going to look at the page. Earnings in 5 days. So most likely going to be some volatility here. Again, I'm going to look at the stories a little bit. You can also see stories here. They're just not rated, but they're stories that are updated coming in from the scraper. Narrative strategy here. The forensic timeline. I like to see this. So you can see 5-day price movements here if it went up or down. So these are a bunch of bullish stories that have happened. And again, this is an indication maybe why the price is going up, because you can see there's a lot of bullish dots. I'm going to look at 30 days. 90. So again, looking for clusters of bullish dots, like here, there looks like a strong cluster. This was a strong cluster of bullish dots that unfortunately was below price. And I've been liking to look at these narrative clusters as well to kind of see if I can find any patterns with certain clusters coming together and a price impact. You also can see narrative clusters directly below signal charts. So if we go to Microsoft again, you can show all the lanes here. So it looks like they have a bunch of strong narratives right now. So for me, that would make sense why the price is going up. And that's pretty much it for today. This is, again, I like to also look at market insights to get an idea of different macro trends here. There's usually also top stories. I'm not sure why they're not loading for the day. This is a new interesting section that takes headlines and does a forensic check. There's some pretty interesting information here. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.